buoyant force. Hope that all of you will be benefited. Okay guys, today we are going to talk about the buoyant force. I'm going to show you something that I have here, very little mass. It weighs around 5 grams, okay? I will throw this mass inside the bottom of the water, okay? And predict what will happen, okay? So guys, what will happen if I throw this small mass inside the bottom of the water? Yeah.
Does anyone know what buoyant force is other than the science teachers?
So what will happen, guys? Yes? It will sink. Okay. So it sank. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a video, short video, and then we will. As you have observed a few seconds ago, that when I throw the small mass, it sinks, while a huge mass or a huge ship carrying thousands of masses floating, okay? So, just write down your answer here before the lesson, okay? Whatever you understand from the video or the question, just write your answer. And at the end of the lesson, we will see if your answer will change or not. Okay? So you have just 1 minute to write your answer.
So the question is why the ship not sinking, right?
Yes.
All right, so they need to write the answer now. And then the same question will be asked to them at the end of the lesson and see if the answer has been changed or not. Okay, guys. Are we done? Are we done, guys? Yes. Okay. Okay, guys. Now we have two concepts for today. The first one is buoyant force, and the second one is Archimedes or Archimedes principle. Okay. What we mean by buoyant force is, I think most of you, daily or weekly, you swim. And while you are diving inside the
up, right? This, the upward force, the upward force that pushing you up, we call it buoyant force. What we call it? Buoyant force. Okay, now, let's come to the second concept, which is Archimedes' principle. Imagine, guys, I have a bottle, okay? And I have a mass. And I have a mass, okay? When I throw this mass, when I put this mass inside the container or the bottle of the water, okay? Some water, it will rise up and dissipate, okay? So this dissipate water is equal to the emerged mass, okay? For example, I have like 20 Newton, okay? The weight of the object is 20 Newton, okay? The dissipate water from the bottle itself, it will be around 20 Newton. So this is what we mean by Archimedes' principle, okay? Now, what formulas that we are going to use? We have two formulas. The first one is F volume means equal to F weight. What we mean by F weight is the second law of Newton, which is force equal mass times acceleration constant. And how much is it? 9.81. Okay? So, minus the F apparent. What we mean by F apparent? It's the displayed weight, we say. The displayed weight. I mean, when the water is displayed, so this amount of water, which is displayed, we call it the F apparent. Right? So, here, put in your mind that each 1 gram, I mean, when you are going to find out the weight of the force, you have to convert the mass from a gram to kilogram. Okay? So, how you will convert it, guys? Yes. Divided by 1, from gram to kilogram. Then you will multiply it with the gravity constant, 9.81. Okay? For that conversion, you will use it in the experiment. For each gram, and 1 gram equals 1 ml. Okay? Milliliter. So 1 milliliter of water is equal 1 gram. I mean, the mass is 1 gram. Okay? Is there any questions?
Good afternoon. As you can see, at the beginning of the lesson, go ahead, Mr. Ahmed. At the beginning of the lesson, it's very important to make or create curiosity in the student's mind. You ask them questions, you show them videos, or you do anything interesting that makes them like they want to think more, want to observe more, want to investigate more. So that's what Mr. Ahmed did at the beginning. He showed them a little bit of comparison between huge town, like a building ship, and comparison between little white name and how some are sinking and some of them are not sinking. He created the curiosity why students wanted to know why, and this is how we encourage them to learn science. Okay? Then he explained. Then he asked them for prediction. Prediction also is very important because also it encourages the student to think critically, because they are predicting and thinking why. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong, but at the end of the lesson they will understand why they're doing this. Okay? Soon he will ask them to go to the lab, to investigate more, to do some experiments, to know more about what they're studying.
Okay, this is what we are going to discover.
Adding to what Usman is saying, I'll also add something here. Most of our teachers might be thinking that there's too much of talk time right now. Maybe because the expectation is that teacher talk time should be less here. However, we must understand it varies from subject to subject and from phase to phase. In elementary and KGs, maybe as soon as we enter into the class, we need to have their attention and seek their attention and give them some manipulatives to be engaged in. Whereas in high school, he mentioned by saying that it's a new topic, it's it's a new law that he's introducing. So he has to reinforce, inform them about the law, and then there will be an application part to it. So there can be that flexibility, of course, within those 5 non-negotiables.
And he's still in the 10 minutes. He's 10 minutes.
So he's also assessing their prior knowledge, where the students are being asked if they know the formula and if the prior knowledge is accurate, and then he will build up on that information.
Also, it's very important at the beginning of the lesson that the teacher ask the students about the objectives, display the objectives clearly, because many teachers start the lesson and go directly to the lesson, but the objectives are not clear in front of the students and in their heads. They have to be clear so that students know what they're doing.
Inside the water, same as in air? No. So this is what we mean by that. Right? Clear? Yes. You have, yes, to find out the weight, and that should be clear from that. Okay? Clear?
He's still clarifying things they're asking about the lesson.
Now guys, we have an activity, an experiment to find out the F value, the Bayesian force, okay? You will have 2 different masses, heavy mass and light mass. Okay?
Do you have any comments so far? Any comments? Any questions?
And in this we will equally, and every group will have a
He's giving instructions for the lab, what they are doing, what are they going to do in the lab. He's giving his instruction now. They will go soon to the lab and do what he's instructing them. Okay, so now they're preparing themselves to go to the lab session, to do the investigation and to do the observation. That makes them understand more the concept, because the concept is not just a theory and theoretical thing. Of course, the 10 minutes are still not done because he's having still instructions in the lab to start. Now they are going to the lab. Yeah. They took their devices, their pens with them, of course.
They're supposed to be going to the lab now to do an experiment, or applying investigative technique and discover something there in the lab. I've seen some examples where we have lessons in the lab, the laboratories of science, but those are only just to be conducted in the lab. There was no experiment. So it could have been done in the classroom, but teachers, because they have to use the lab, they take their students to the lab, and they do the same thing which is usually done in the class. That's our own practice, and Ms. Iman will not be accepting this. So we need to take the students to the lab to do an experiment, to investigate something in the lab, not only to go there to teach the lesson exactly the same way as if it's taught in the classroom. So being in the lab, we have to make an effective use of the resources in the lab.
Of course, a major thing in teaching science and all subjects actually, that the students have to find it out by themselves. If they see it, they analyze it, they observe it, they will never forget it. After 50 years, ask them about it, they will remember it.
As we can see, the expectations are set. They know instructions are not given again. They're just busy now. That's why the instruction minutes
We're trying to use an application to show you the experiments on the screen, on the big screen. It was working, but we are restarting it again. Now, they have the papers here that has instructions. The instructions, it tells the students what to do in the lab exactly. The purpose of using the instructions that the students have to be independent learners. Independent learners, they have to go step by themselves, try to do it and apply it by themselves. Teacher is only helping them, facilitating his or their work. Okay, he's not supposed to guide them like babies or spoon feeding them. Okay, so they are reading, following instructions, and doing the work. And he is helping and guiding. As you can see, they are experimenting, writing the results, the observation, and analyzing them. Okay, as you can see here, they are having models of the ship, models of the weight. Of course, the weight will represent the ship and represent all the things that they are studying about. Buoyant force, how their things are sinking, how the displacement of water is happening, because whenever, of course, they put the weight, the water will be displaced. They're calculating. This is integration, of course, with math. This is the time where we use math, we use calculators, graphs, whatever math you want. Yes. Soon we'll be integrated with English, don't worry. Yeah. As you can see, we are with student independent work, independent learners. This is what the ministry wants, this is what we want, this is our system, American system. They are supposed to work by themselves. I know they are going slowly now toward this, but at least in high school we have to go fast in this area. We have to create this motion by encouraging our students to study by themselves, to search by themselves, to look for information by themselves. We help them, we guide them only. See, he's answering the questions, he's solving any issues they're having. As you can see, Mr. Mamba is following their work. They are doing the experiment and writing the results and their observation, doing calculations. Of course, calculation is a very important part of the physics. All science, but especially physics. Of course, this is the first activity in our 25 minutes. This is the first activity we're doing. Mr. Ahmed, how many minutes is this activity? 15 minutes, yeah. They're supposed to do this in 15 minutes, then we're going to go to another activity. This activity, of course, is not just like a show-off, as Mr. Amjad said. It's just to make them see and observe what's going on, what's buoyant force, what's going on, how it's flowed, how it sinks, how to measure the displacement, how to use it to do their work later on when they become engineers or to go to real life. You know that this kind of studies is what they study in the university nowadays to become engineers and all this kind of technology studies. They need this. Our mission in schools is to prepare them for universities, right? This is part of the national agenda. Very important part of the national agenda is to prepare our students for high school, for university. Students of high school for the university. Okay? Of course, questions are very important. Discussion with students is very important. It's very important to guide them all the time. This is where we go and move from group to group and guide them all the time. Of course, students or teacher is supposed to divide the students into groups according to many criteria. But for example, sometimes we divide them into levels. Levels of math, levels of Cat 4, right? When he knows certain group needs more help, he's supposed to, the teacher, she or he is supposed to go to this group and give them the best support, more support, because not all of the students need the same support. We all know this. Unfortunately, many teachers have this issue. We sometimes spend most of our time with the intelligent, high achievers, and we leave the others. And this is not good, because we are supposed to give our guidance and support mostly for the people who need us the most, the students who need us the most. So, framework of inspection, we have lots of things going on here in the framework of inspection and the observation of the teachers we're doing in the classes. The independent work, the differentiation is going on here, the activities. Help me, Ms. Yusra. Practical, yeah. Many things are going on. We have it in the observation, are going on here. Yeah? Innovation, integration with other subjects, application to real life, we'll see it soon. Yeah, they're working. Are we counting the time, Mr. Fayed? Of course, when some students are ahead of their classmates, we are supposed to give them extra challenge. We have levels of questions, level of challenges, level 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes when they are advanced, are ahead of their classmates, we have to give them extra challenge and extra work to do. Students shouldn't sit just waiting for the next step and asking for like, okay, we're bored, we don't know what to do. We're supposed to prepare the next step for them. They are supposed to know it ahead of time, what's the next step. happy from their work? Perfect, perfect. They're finding their final results, right? See, Mr. Ahmed is moving from one group to another, talking, making sure that every student is participating, every student is involved, every student knows what he's doing. Whoever is having obstacles, he is supposed to support and help him. This is an excellent way of differentiation also, because we know the abilities of every student, we know how to support them. Better than talking to the whole class. It's supposed to be homogeneous. Okay, we divided them into homogeneous groups, and every group is taking different attention and different work. He's discussing with them the results, their observation and the result, because he's supposed to look for their conclusions, their observation, what are the things they noticed, what did they study, did they
So the answer would be we will have the difference between the parent and the parent weight is that when you add the weight to the water, the density of the water will be more than the density without the mass. So the difference between the parent and the weight is that we add the mass, so it will be greater.
I just summarize what you have done here. What formulas you use, okay? And here, as I see, you found out the buoyant force, okay? You use the formula F weight minus the F apparent. How do you calculate the F weight?
We calculate it by to calculate it, we measured by the measurement and we find it. So after that, we measure also the weight in the water, and it will be the F apparent, and after that we minus the F weight from the F apparent to find the F apparent.
Good. Yes, guys.
So we have learned how to calculate F buoyant by minus F gravity minus F apparent, and we use the scale to have the mass of the object at air and inside the water, and that's it.
Amazing. Today we have display.
Good, guys.
Yes. The video display, right? Well, what I like most about this is I hardly hear the teacher's voice. That's the good thing in it. Students are
Okay,
talking.
thank you, guys.
So yes, now we are going to for the next activity. So here, yes, second. Okay, now guys, we have three groups we have here. And the first group, what you are going to do, you will design here, group one. You will design a traditional boat that were used in the United Arab Emirates. Okay, you have the tools there. A submarine by the recycled materials. Fine. And the third group, you guys will do a research about the buoyant force and the Archimedes principle. And I'll be very happy if you find out the story of Archimedes. It's very interesting. Okay? Guys, you have 15 minutes to complete your task.
Okay, this is the next activity, of course, can activity. It's another type of activity. Again, we treated them according to their way they're thinking, how they are creative. For example, we're asking here to design boats, to design submarines. What are we encouraging here? What do you think? Anybody knows what we're encouraging? Project-based learning, excellent, but we're encouraging innovation. Innovation and expansion, which is the major part of national agenda and the direction of our country, UAE here. Okay? We're encouraging our students to think critically, think of invention, think of doing engineering. We don't want them just to keep studying on papers and boards and just memorizing. And when you ask them about any idea, they memorize it, but they don't understand it. They go to the universities, they don't know how to apply it in the engineering college. Okay? So that's how they practice. Somebody will think it's a game. It's not a game. They are practicing engineering. This is the first steps in engineering. Okay? So, wooden boat, heritage of UAE. This is the ID or the identity of UAE. This is part of the observation, also part of the national agenda and the framework of inspection. Here we have submarine. Submarine also, it's recycling, environment related, real life application, which means also national agenda, again, UAE identity and direction of the country. And sustainability, which is again, interest of UAE. Sustainability and taking care of the environment. Again, submarine, you know how important for our students to be like thinking out of the box, thinking in an innovative way. They're thinking how to create and invent things. These people here, they prefer to do researches and look for more information. They're helping also, supporting their friends in solving the problems of their submarine and boats.
The minute students start using those tools and resources, the level of engagement will, go up like to the extremes. I mean, you will see that all the students in the class will get engaged in the activity, and that's what we want. Okay? So remember, it all depends on how engaged are the students.
And engagement also, again, is important in observation and in framework.
Where is Mr. Nenna? Let's see the videos, man.
Yes, this is the time. You will see how they are so interested in their work, and they're not acting, by the way. That's how they were in the class even when we were preparing the lesson. They were so interested in the work because they're having hands-on, they're doing imagination. Preparing them for universities and for real life. That's why we're teaching. Preparing for real life.
I would just say that science teachers are usually lucky because they teach science. Because science, it's a subject that should all the time be presented only this way, only in the lab, only with hands-on activities and tools and resources. All right? Things might be more difficult for languages and for math, but still we can do the same. We can use resources, we can use hands-on activities.
If you see here, it doesn't cost me so much. It's recycled material, like just empty bottle of water and balloons, very cheap stuff. But look how they're thinking and taking it seriously. They're thinking of every step. How to make this submarine float, how to make it sink, how to make a strong base. Both there also, I noticed when I was beside them, they were thinking how to build the base of the boat, how to make it empty from inside and fill it with air. See, they're thinking of the base, thinking how to design it, the measurements. It's not just a game, it's designing. And this is the seed we plant in their heads. When we plant the seed of designing, seed of engineering, they will love it. It's not just like a thing to do for job.
We want comments from the teachers, high school teachers. Is this what we normally see in our classes? No?
What do you think?
Yes, Mr. Sultan. We want your feedback because this is important, whether you can relate with this or not.
Regarding of the material Mr. Ahmed is teaching, I believe that his confidence and the way he knows what he's teaching does more than half the job for him. The way he is showing the kids who's in charge in class makes the class flow in a very good direction. The kids were so engaged in the activity for a second that they forgot that they are being monitored. To be honest, this is what I personally think.
Thank you. Yeah, indeed, it's right. And they were like, did you see the way they have the dialogue and the communication? The excellent relation with the students? I agree.
Science teachers, maybe elementary science teachers can comment if this is what they can possibly do in elementary classes as well, or how different it can be. The purpose of having a practical is that we want to show a variety of lessons. Normally we don't have a class where the students are sitting in groups and teachers are coming and they're being monitored. We should have lessons where we're taking students outside. Maybe an English lesson should be planned in a way where the teacher is pretending that she's taking it in the students in the open area and there is a reading activity. Science practicals with math, they're doing some manipulatives or measurements. That's what normally happens in the school. That's what we want to see, how to apply those 5 non-negotiables in a real situation. So science teachers from elementary. Ms. Asma, maybe you can. Any comments? Good. High school is all thumbs up, very good. Again, I would agree with Mr. Sultan that if the teacher is well planned, the teacher knows whom to assign what task, the grouping is done according to either their interest level, their ability level, according to the math scores, it makes our life easy.
Well, instructions are still being given to the students. I mean, those 10 minutes of instructions, he still instructs them, he still explains to them, but to the group individually, not to the whole class. All right? Now, comparing this with or the way we have studied when we were kids. Like, I mean, you know, we used to get teachers in the class and then, you know, explaining and talking the whole lesson time, which makes the teacher tired, in fact. But now what he does is only going around, talking to the, you know, students, having chat with them without having to yell or shout. So this makes the, you know, the lesson time run very smoothly.
Can I ask you, what are you doing now? What are you making?
Now we are working in our submarine. Okay, the submarine uses Archimedes principle. We will show you how the submarine floats and sinks inside the water, and just you to use some air pressures, the sun, and the balloon to show how the submarine stays floating in the water. So the air pressure will get the ability for the submarine to stay float in the water, and then when we wanted to sink inside the water, will take the pressure out, so the gravitational force will be higher, so that's why the submarine will sink.
Can I ask you, did you get instructions how to design and build this submarine, or you researched about it and you're coming up with your own design?
Yes, the teacher has sent us videos, so we can have a small introduction to build the submarine.
Excellent. So this is also an example of the, can I have everyone's attention please? This is also a good example. I just asked the student, how are they designing the submarine? Were the instructions given now, or they researched it? So the teacher had already shared some links with them. So that's also an example of a flipped learning, where they were given some guidelines, so they're coming with some information already in hand. Why are you not making a model? What are you doing now?
Now we are researching about the Archimedes principle story, and from our research we have realized that one of the old kings at his time, he gave some kilograms of gold to one of the gold, and he asked him to do for him a golden crown. And he went for some days and come back with the golden crown. But he's not sure if it's a pure gold or not pure. But after some days, another one of his workers, he came and he told him that once he were in the bathtub, taking a bath, he realized that the water went out of when he's showering, it's the appearance. So he realized that the water is coming out equal to the mass which is inside. And then he went, the king, and he tested with the golden crown. Then he realized that half of the crown is inside the water, sinking, and half is floating.
then he realized that it's not pure gold. And that is the Archimedes story.
And this is the high thinking skill. This is what we mean when we say high thinking skills. This is investigative technique. So the facts that he could get out from his research is individual learning. So he learned by himself, like he acquired some kind of information that is the core of this lesson, you know. So this is the high thinking.
At the end, he killed the worker.
Amazing. Amazing.
So we are making a ship here. What is happening here? Can you tell me how did you design? What makes you believe that it's not going to sink?
Because here we modeled the ship as the a real life example ship. From the top, the shape can help the ship raise or make the ship float, because it removes more water so the ship can move in the sea.
Displaying the outcomes now, displaying the products.
Here also glued, or we help to cover all the holes in the ship so the water cannot go inside, and all air inside, so the water cannot have more gravity to pull the water down.
And this is project-based learning. This is PBL. This is project-based learning. The students could design a boat or whatever, and they could speak about it. So students' time is getting over now, but in fact we feel bad for it. I mean, we're enjoying it. If I was a student in this class, I would love to have more time, you know, designing my project and working on my project. This is only because we could plan for an engaging activity in class.
So now I think they're about to finish the activity. The teacher is planning to take the students back to class for possibly 2 reasons. We will know in a few minutes. Probably he wants them to finish off the worksheet that he originally gave them. And number 2, he wants students to be in place for the next teacher. So they don't know, the next teacher is not looking for our students. So they're here in class on time.
I've been to classes where some teachers have more than 4 students in every group. That is absolutely not acceptable. Not more than 4 students in every group. No 5, no 6 students in the same group. Only 4, maximum 4. This will, it will allow for the, group members to learn from each other, and it will also be easy to control. Well, when you have 17, it's okay. Yeah. No, it should be group work. When we say collaborative learning, in certain activities, you could maybe apply pair work. We call it pair work. That's fine, but not all the time. I mean, if the activity requires pair work, that's fine. But collaborative learning, project-based learning is all about grouping. And grouping should not be more than 4. All right. In certain cases where we maybe need to have, you you have 17 maybe, it's better if you have 4, instead of having 4 and 5. Okay? So yes. So you could maybe have 3 groups of 4 and 1 group of 3. That's much better than having groups of 4 and 1 of 5. No, I mean avoid having 5 students in the same group.
Hello and welcome to our TV show, The Art Physics TV. In our TV show, we will ask the students what have they learned from the class. Let's welcome our guests, Ahmed Sultan, Ali Ahmed, and Mohammed Saleh.
Okay, so that's the news broadcast. Reporting, we're reporting now.
Have you heard of buoyant force? Well, right now, right here, in our TV show, we will ask our guests if they know about the buoyant force or not. Let's start with our first guest, Ali. What have you learned of buoyant force?
With the Archimedes principle, it's clarified for us how can submarines sink and rise in water surface, in which submarines have two places to store water and one to store an air. So when the submarine sucks water inside it, it has a more gravitational force in which it sinks. And when it take out the water and instead of the water air, it has less gravitational force than the F-buoyant and it will float.
So let's go with Muhammad. How can you connect the buoyant force to our real life?
Our lesson today explained everything that connect to our real life, starting from the first video that we see today, that the ship did not sink. Also, we have the submarine. We have many examples that can relate to the F-buoyant today, and we can conclude from this point, this examples that we saw today, that the examples can help us in real life in many ways.
Ahmed, can you tell us what do you like about the lesson today?
What I have learned today's lesson, that we have connected to the real world problems, and we have tested our ships and submarines inside the water, how they will sink and how will they float. And what I like also that we are using these things in our daily life, and this helps us how to brainstorm, think, and how to solve the problems that we have in our daily life.
Well, thank you for watching us, and the TV show is finished now.
Leonard. So here we finish. Now this is a physics exit card, and there's 3 questions. The first question is the most important thing I learned today, and the second part is the best part of class today, and then I still have questions about. So guys, as an exit card. Before the exit card, just go back to the previous question, guys. I asked you at the beginning of the lesson and a question. Here, are you going to change your mind and change the answer? So, Is there any questions? Still, do you have any questions? Any questions, guys?
Can I ask you?
Yes, of course.
Can I, Mr. Amra, ask a student? Now you are working physics lesson. When you throw stone inside water, you calculated the mass of this stone, right? How can you relate this to math? Just I want you to think about this question. Math with the little water base, what's the relation with this and math? Research for this.
We subtract the volume of the water before the mass inside and after the mass inside. That's how we can implement it. To find the volume of the water has increased.
We want this volume of water represent what?
Equal the volume of the mass.
The volume of the
Mass, the stone is